The fleet is holding its position, sir.
I think it wise to report our position before we attack.
You know, when we talk about Plo Koon,
Yes.
very early on I knew he was your favorite character.
Why? Because I said he's my favorite character. It's amazing.
Well, no, you know,
how
I knew
pick
you
up
were
on-
working on. Actually, I think the one of the first times I came over to your house, right after we were both hired on the series, where you were actually in your garage building
right.
a Kit Fisto costume,
For
but you
Giancarlo.
had the Plo
I had
Koon
finished that one, yeah.
costume there, and I was like, wow, he built a Plo Koon costume, and I'm thinking to myself, I can understand Obi-Wan, you know, or some other character, but I'm thinking, Plo Koon, what has he done? Sat on the Jedi Council and just kind of moved his fingers a little bit and tilted his head, but there wasn't anything to him, so he was a clean slate.
Plo was probably one of the easiest assignments that I ever had on the show because I didn't really have to do anything. Dave Filoni already had a maquette sculpted by Darren Marshall, which was exactly how he wanted Plo to look from the neck up, and he had no shortage of opinions and ideas on how Plo would look from the neck down. I mean, he was very specific about the boots, the belt, the tunic, the collar, everything. Because Plo happened early enough in the series that we were still figuring out how we were going to do this stuff, Plo's geometry is very, very simple, but he looks more detailed than a lot of characters that came along later because of the texture work that's on his mask, which is all Tim Brock. It gives the sense of this carved metal really, really well, even though it's just a simple flat plane.
I think Dave's initial thought about Plo Koon was he wanted him to be this sort of wise, sort of sage-like figure.
When you ask for trouble, you should not be surprised when it finds you.
He kind of sounds a little bit, like to me, like Gandalf.
I don't believe in chance, Commander. I know if we work together, we will stay alive.
It definitely feels like it's going through whatever that filter is on his mouth.
Kotoya, Master Plo.
Kotuya, little Soga.
The phrase Kotoya is a greeting in Plo Koon's native language, Keldor. You know, that was something that allowed you early in the episode to kind of go, wait a minute, Ahsoka knows how to speak to Plo Koon in this weird language. What's that about? So it kind of hints at the idea that she knows Plo Koon actually better than Anakin does.
How do you know Master Plo anyway?
It was Master Plo Koon who found me and brought me to the temple where I belonged.
That gave her more of a reason to want to go and be a bit bratty and find him, find her friend.
He needs our support. We have to go help him.
It was interesting to give Plo Koon and Ahsoka this relationship where it's somewhat mentorly, so he's a different type of mentor for her as this series goes along.
It is time to go.
Go? Where are you going, sir?
Outside to destroy the enemy. I can withstand the pressure for a brief time.
If you say so, sir.
Plo Koon surviving in space. This was a hotly debated thing with my master, George.
Hey, what's a Jedi doing out here?
Yeah, he's like, what's that about? How can he survive in space? You know, to me, it makes a lot of sense. He's an alien. I don't know what he can and can't do. It's not defined. If we say he can go out into space, then he can go out into space. George always made fun of us because he said, I made 6 films without having anybody fight in space. And I said, yeah, but Grievous got sucked out into space and then walked on the top of the cruiser. George is like, well, he's a robot. And I was like, no, he's not. He's a cyborg. And, you know, so it's fun to argue with George about those things. He gets into it, and you know, that's fun.
Your sense of humor is improving.
I think it builds his character because he's doing it for his men. What he's saying is that I can survive for a brief time, and it's going to keep you guys alive.
Why are you so certain no one is coming?
We're just clones, sir.
Some fun things. I put wolves on Plo Koon's clones' helmets because I like wolves. I'm a big supporter of wolves and their natural habitat and their conservation. And Plo Koon's commander is Commander Wolf.
There's too much interference, sir.
You'll see him later in season 2. Actually, he's got a big gash in his eye, and he now has a silver eye, so that's kind of neat.
Quickly, into the pods!
The escape pods, which are based on the movie Escape Pods, simplified and slightly stylized by Tang Li. We've used those things quite a bit. That was talk about mileage. Yeah, we've seen the escape pods a lot, and will. I mean, it's just a useful plot thing. They were in the very first movie, and they're just a good way to get people out of trouble fast. I hope people are fans of the escape pods because there's going to be lots of them.
I experimented with the entire escape from the debris field, where I kind of just drew an overall map of the direction I wanted the ships to go, and we looked at shots from Empire Strikes Back of them in the asteroid belt, and I said, that's what I want this to be. Go through some debris, over some debris, really pitch the ship. I was never sure how well it worked until we synced up a jump that Lando makes to hyperspace in the end of Empire Strikes Back, where there's that big John Williams thing, ba 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 ba, they jump. So we hit that point with when the Twilight jumps at the end of Malevolence, and it really worked great through the debris field. And finally I was like, wow, that episode has an ending.
Master?
I was sure sweating it when we showed it to George because we had changed it quite substantially from the script that he had approved. But he really felt that, you know, the shots had a purpose all the time, and he said it was the first time he felt like the heroes really might not get away. And that was when I think we thought, okay, this show's really gonna start to work now.
We're clear.